Sit them together, maybe half of that was just the garlic, onion, salt, pepper, fish sauce.
Yeah.
You know, I like, we're for sure.
All right, it's 4:59, so I just unmuted the audio and video, so just letting you guys know we are live on YouTube. Okay, it's 4:59, so I just unmuted the audio and video. We are live on.
I think so. In a cave.
I feel like I just heard that from the clerk.
Must be AI.
Or I'm using it,
I haven't dove into that yet. I'm afraid it'll show me how smart I am.
The champion. Sounded like. It wasn't just like a number of business, it was just things to chew on. Yeah, so you're cool. Yeah. That is exciting. Jack the season, don't go and get a real food store. Really?
All right, I see 5 o'clock. Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of Tuesday, October 21st, for order. Roll call, please.
Amy Johnson,
Here.
Casey Moore,
Here.
Wayne Schmidt,
Here.
Midge Swedberg here, Scott Neverton,
Here.
John Ortlieb,
I'm here.
Kevin Schmidt.
Here.
I do not show John Kidd here at this time.
Could you confirm the meeting in compliance with open meetings law?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. And we look for an approval of or a change to the order of the agenda
Second.
by Midge and second by Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 3 meeting minutes, September 16th, October 6th, and October 14th. Did everyone have a chance to go over those? Any discussion?
Motion to approve.
Second. By Casey and a second by Amy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Did everyone look at the bills? Any questions on any of those? And if you want a motion to approve,
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
by Kevin. Second. Second by John. Roll call, please.
Swedberg,
Yes.
Ortlieb,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Wayne Schmidt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kevin Schmidt,
Yes.
Meverden.
Yes.
Thank you. No conference attendance.
There's none at this time, Mayor.
Thank you. Public comment, is there anyone from the public who would like to speak? Ready for public comment? A third time? Seeing none, we'll move on. Reports? Treasurer's report, please.
Sure, so it's all in front of you. On the backside, you'll have the budget to actual as of last week, Thursday. Everything is looking fine there, nothing to be alarmed about. Not a lot to report on other activity, other than the few things I have listed here. We did receive the final installments of the general transportation and connecting highway state aid payments on October sixth, so those are now 100%. According to what we had budgeted. We worked with our TIP consultant, Becker Professional Services, to complete the creation of TID number 5 with the state of Wisconsin. So all the appropriate paperwork is filed for that. And then for the clerk treasurer services contract with the city of Kiwanee, as of last week, we are currently at total net revenue of $61,000 for the year. That's all I have.
Any questions for Jamie? Not, we can first report and we'll begin at the same time.
Sure. Just a quick report from here. Just a reminder that there will be a groundbreaking ceremony on Thursday, October 23rd at 4:30 p.m. at the home of the new fire and rescue station. All are welcome to attend. It's been out on Facebook, Door County Daily News, our website, and posted here at City Hall. Upcoming election training, Kewaunee County Clerk Jamie Anoy has asked that I prepare a training session for all of the clerks and their chief election inspectors in Kewaunee County. That will be taking place on October 29th. We will be going over all things election and what happens at the end of the night after the polls close. I will also be holding an election training here for poll workers to certify them for the 2026-2027 election season coming up in December. You will see a resolution before you at the council meeting in December to appoint the election officials for the next term. On the topic of elections, there will likely be 4 elections next year: February, April, August, and November. Candidacy paperwork and packets will be ready December 1st for pickup, so interested parties can begin circulating nomination paperwork. Please remember that nomination paperwork should not be circulated until the campaign finance registration statement and declaration of candidacy paperwork is filled out. More to come on that at the November Finance and Personnel Committee meeting. And lastly, the county has switched to a new system for tax collection software. Both Jamie and I will be attending their training in early November. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
I got a question. Erin, is this your first time doing the training for the county?
Yeah, I've never been asked to give a training, and Jamie called and asked, and I thought with the team that we have here, everything I've learned from Jamie and learned throughout WEC, that it was pretty cool to do and speaks volumes of what we do here on election night and how smoothly everything goes throughout the day and at night. Got a
Wonderful.
pretty good
Congratulations.
crew.
Good for
Thank
you.
you.
It's a great opportunity. Good
Thank
for
you.
Any more questions? And if not, could I have a motion to accept both reports? So moved. By John,
Second.
by Scott, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you both. What business, the 2026 budget?
Yeah, so this is just on here as a placeholder in case anybody had anything after last week's meeting that they want me to look into further. And have prepared for a future meeting. There's nothing we don't.
I do, but I think I'm putting the cart before the horse because it's gonna come in new business.
Okay.
But
And that's fine.
yeah, so could I ask later? Or do you want me to ask now?
Does it fall under an agenda item?
Yeah, it falls under the utility rates increase. Was that factored into, and will we get that, or that was already
It's
factored?
factored in, yeah, because this is a standard increase every year.
Okay, so that's all I was wondering.
because we're in a meeting, though, if anybody throughout the week, next week, don't be afraid to email Jamie, call here with any questions. With the budget, that as you're going through it or looking at it, you don't have to wait to a meeting. Don't be afraid to give a call or send an email to Jamie. Be more than happy to try to answer those questions prior to.
Anything else? We'll move on. New business, ordinance 859, an ordinance amendment adjusting the city of Algoma wastewater utility rates for calendar year 2026 is set out in section 46.84 of the municipal code. Act on that.
So this was brought up through the Public Works Committee, saw this morning. Every year, we do a rate case, or we've had a rate case study done. John Mayer has done this rate case study. This is the proposal that he has brought to us. It's a 3% rate increase on the users here in the city and also on the haulers that haul down to the wastewater treatment facility. It's spelled out pretty good. If anybody has any questions, there were a lot of good questions this morning. One of them that Wayne Schmidt had, and we got to the bottom of it before we left the meeting. But if you go to page 204, it kind of breaks out what the current rates are today and starting January 1st of 2026, what they will be going to. So most common residential meters either have a 5/8 or a 3/4 inch meter. They were paying $33.99 for their base rate, and it is now going to $35.01. And then for every 1,000 gallons of water that goes through your meter, you will pay on the sanitary sewer side from today's rate $13.13 to $13.52 per 1,000. And this is just the sanitary sewer side of it. The water portion will also be changing on the 1st of the year. But the city council, we have the oversight of the sanitary sewer. The Algoma Utilities has the oversight of the water. Does anybody have any questions? And with that, we'd be looking for a motion, and that would move up for adoption on November, at the November council meeting. And then we have to, by statute, send letters to all the rate case or all the rate haulers of the change. So Jamie's informed me that she's already sent the letters.
I was gonna say before we change it or after, or doesn't it
We
matter?
have to give them 60 days notice of the change, so.
So we're looking for a motion to move this forward.
That is correct.
I'd make a motion to recommend it to council.
Casey,
I'll second it.
and a second from Amy. And roll call, please.
Meverden,
Yes.
Wayne Schmidt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Swedberg,
Yes.
Kevin Schmidt,
Yes.
Ortlieb,
Present.
yes or no?
No.
No? Motion carries 6-1.
Thank you. And then B, the tax increment district for road repairs.
Yes, well, me and Casey are gonna kind of take this together. I guess I'll kick it off. If everybody remembers the work down on TID4, that's the apartment complex down there. And we had some parking lot work done, and that parking lot work, we've sent up a bill. That parking lot has all been completed, has been approved. Obviously, they are using it for the last month here. There is some excess money left over in that fund, the TID, I should say, not fund, in the TID. So we have two options of wait the length of the TID and then disperse it back to the tax increment districts or to the taxing authorities, would get their percentage back, or we could do some work in the TID. All right. So three of the proposals, that's gonna be about $50,000 because it's gonna be T&M. There's three things that we would like to address in that area. And if everybody refers, so they have this paperwork in front of them. The first sheet shows the catch basin or the jars on 6th Street to the south of Clark Street. They're in really bad shape in those radius returns. It would be to fix those jars, replace that curb from those cut points that you see highlighted in pink on both sides of the road of Sixth Street. And then what you see highlighted in pink would be to repave those areas. Okay, that's the first of three. The second of three is on page 2. And page 2 is in the alley. So this is an old picture. If you're looking to the east side of the alley, that all those houses, obviously everything is gone. That is an apartment complex now. The east side, I'm sorry, the west side of the alley holds true. Where these three houses are, and it shows this garage with the pink kind of driveway apron in it. Because of the new heights and everything and the way the alley was paved to meet the new heights in the driveway going into the garage of the apartment complex, all of the water is hitting this point where you see the pink and in his driveway apron and shedding into his garage. Okay, so the proposal that we've had put together is to come to this alley to the catch basin, catch that catch basin underground with a pipe, go into the middle of this driveway and taper all of that driveway to catch that water so it's not going into his garage any longer. Okay, so that's project number 2. Project number 3 is going to be in your, all 3 of these pictures are in your agenda as well. There's just a picture of project number 3 is going to be right across the street from Denny's if you walk out of the grocery store, where you've probably seen little duck ponds sitting on both sides of the catch basin there. The catch basin has risen. There's a chip in the curb and some of the curb has settled around there. It would be to cut that curb out, lower that catch basin, re-pour that probably 15 feet on both sides, 20 feet on both sides of the catch basin, re-pour that curb and that blacktop. And then blacktop about a 2-foot area. This went through Public Works this morning. I'm not trying to, this is the way it works out. Peters is in town doing some work, obviously at the fire station. They would move a crew down here as soon as tomorrow to get started on this work. All right, so it is time and material not to exceed $50,000. And they would start as early as tomorrow to do the work.
For all of it?
For all 3 of the jobs. And it's not general fund money. This money would come out of the tax increment district, this remaining monies. I probably just covered a lot of ground there. I would take any questions.
I have a question. Are the catch basins getting larger or are you putting extra in on the Clark and Sixth Street?
No,
Or Fifth Street?
they would be staying in the same place.
Okay,
They would be getting set to grade to meet the new
that,
curb
okay,
lines.
all right, that was.
So
set to grade.
depending on where the flows are, Amy, some of them might go up a ring, some of them might go down a ring, but to match the new curb line. Because right now it's kind of like a roller coaster through there,
Uh-huh.
It goes up and down.
I did have to Google catch basin. I didn't understand that. It's always just a storm sewer to me.
Yeah. There, any other questions?
Can you,
What?
can you high level just tell me so I have it right for the minutes, the 3 things that you're doing for, or want to do for 50,000, not to exceed 50, starting tomorrow with Peters?
It would be the radius returns on the southeast and southwest corners of Sixth Street and Clark Street.
Okay.
In pink.
The alley on the west side,
Alley on
right
the
next
west
to the watershed.
side,
1 resident,
yep,
and then across from Denny's repairing the catch basins and curb.
that is
Is that
correct,
the 3 things you're looking to have done?
that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
No good.
Sure.
Oh, go ahead. You wanna make a
Huh?
motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we do those 3 things out of the TIF.
I'll second.
Motion is by John and second by Reed. Scott, do you have a question?
Yeah, I understand 2 out of the 3, obviously the catch basins and the replacing the curb. But the alleyway, it's just a little bit disappointing that there wasn't a forethought from our designers and the builder beforehand.
I have to agree.
So essentially, the homeowner is going to get a complete new pad as well.
He is paying $1,000 of the blacktop.
It's just a bit disappointing. I wish we didn't have to do any of it on that portion, but that's all. Emotional second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. All in favor?
I think you should probably have a roll call.
Yeah.
They're gonna start that tomorrow.
I'm sorry, roll call.
Kevin Schmidt,
Yes.
Meverden,
Yes.
Swedberg,
Yes.
Wayne Schmidt,
Yeah.
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Ortlieb.
Yes.
Thank you. C, the Kiwanee County proposal for EMS services.
Yes, myself, Rory Gressel, who is with us here today, the fire chief and the fire assistant chief, Tom Ackerman and Tom Vandenack. We were, asked by the county, Jeremy Crow from the administrator at Kiwanee County, to attend a meeting about 3 months ago over at Luxembourg, over at the Emergency Management Office at the Fairgrounds, to talk about EMS services. There we were accompanied or joined by, Luxembourg, 2 people from Luxembourg Rescue and, 2 county elected officials and Jeremy with a proposal of, because of the staffing issues that are going on in the EMS service, to look at having a study done. So Jeremy at the time had mentioned that the county was looking to earmark $25,000 in their 2026 budget to pay for half of the $50,000 study. That is one of the ways to look at where our services are going in the next 5 to 10 years, okay? And us 4 from Algoma sat in that meeting with 2 from Luxembourg and 3 from the county, and kind of listened to the EMS directors and where their problems were. And the county asked if the 3 rescue services would pick up the other $25,000, okay? To have this $50,000 study done. I, at the time, along with the other 3 from Algoma, we had said, we have no way of taking our approximately $8,000 and per our contract, passing that on to the towns we serve. So we feel like it's fair. Why don't we just get ahead of this and invite all the towns, villages, cities in the county and sit down and have a second meeting and see where this lands? Okay. Last month, us 4 from Algoma met with a lot of the town chairs. I want to say there were 4 of them, chief, that weren't there, between the whole county. And Jeremy proposed, the same thing, but instead of the $8,000 and breaking it up with the 3 rescue squads, that everybody by population would split that $25,000 throughout the whole county, which then comes to approximately, or does come to $1.25 per population, for the city of Algoma, for $1.25 per head per population in the whole county. Okay, which if you take that $1.25 times the 3,262 people here in the city of Algoma, we would be responsible for $4,077.50 of that study. All right, we don't know who's all in or who's all out. I heard this afternoon that there's one town for sure out that's not participating in it. I don't know who else has even brought this to their council. The village of Luxembourg, they have to go through, that doesn't go to their village board. It goes through a little different process there because they have a fire and rescue board. So I'm not sure who's all out. But with talking with Rory and the fire chief and the assistant chief, that we would be responsible for paying our $4,077.50. And if anybody else comes out and they come asking us for more, that's where we would say, this is what we're paying for, whether you support it or don't. And if they don't come up with the rest of the money, and maybe the county board doesn't build it into their budget and they don't have the other 25,000, maybe it becomes a mute point and it comes off the table. But we're asking for the $4,077. That would be the city of Algoma's portion, that we're putting our foot in the door to say, this is our portion. If that $1.25, because a lot of them get out, becomes $1.85, I would still be in support of the $4,077.50 to pay for the study. But not a dollar more than that. I would take any or all questions.
You didn't say Kiwani attended the meeting?
They did not, they attended the second meeting, they were not at the first meeting.
Okay, do you think this is worthwhile to spend this money on that study? I should be maybe asking the fire chief or Rory. Is this a good thing? Are we going in the right direction? Do we want to spend that money? Will this be beneficial to us? Do you think, I mean, you don't know till we get it done, but do you think so? It's, to me, it doesn't seem like a whole lot of money to get something done that everybody needs. But I wanna get your opinion as professionals, that, yeah, this is the way we wanna go.
Way I look at it, right now, we're doing okay here. Owen or Kiwani and Luxembourg have had issues with their staffing like we did 3 or 4 years ago. It's gonna be a cycle, and it's not if, it's when it's gonna happen again. What I'd look to see, he provided us with 3 separate feasibility studies that were done for different counties within the state of Wisconsin. All of them had multiple different options of what they could theoretically do. To, fix some of their problems. I mean, as directors, we really, our biggest problem is manpower and getting people to volunteer to do it. And we don't feel that just throwing money at this is the correct answer. So trying to look in the future to see what we can be sustainable. And each one of them had about, what, 4 or 5 different options of what those counties could do. I don't want it to be, as some of the people had said at the meeting, just paperweight. So it'd be something that when the time comes, at least we have ideas. Right now, we're doing okay. Luxembourg was actually the one that initiated this process through talking with somebody through their township boards, and they got escalated to county board. And that's how we all kind of got into this meeting in the state that we're in now. But
So you think it'd be worthwhile?
I would agree. I mean, we had the citywide assessment, whatever, how many years ago that was, to take a look at everything. I think to your point, Rory, we're doing well. Obviously Thursday is a big day, and we might look good for the next 5 to 10 years. So that's why I would agree with your 4,077 and about $1 more. If it were to go above that.
I have a question. For the 2 elected officials, Andre Jacques and Joel Kitchens,
No, they were county board,
county officials,
county board elected
because
officials.
I think they have a bill, don't they, where they're talking about all this consolidation of fire and EMS.
There is, it really, at this point, doesn't touch on any of the services we currently have to date.
there's 2 bills on the governor's desk that he potentially could, 3 technically.
3.
That he potentially could sign at whatever his next signing period is, but none of them really address this issue.
Right.
Addresses training. One of them addresses, the formation of like public safety districts,
Oh, that's what it was.
which could be fire and or EMS.
Mhm.
And that was. There's some goofy stuff in there, like a video 911 capability and. Which would do lots of problem, obviously. And not a lot of stuff that would technically fix this problem.
Is the intent of this strictly staffing? Is that the object of this study, or are we looking at consolidation and paramedics?
The end result of the 3 studies that this company performed is that they went to a medic service or some sort of full-time service.
Something like Appleton or whatever?
Door County, I think would be
I
a
have-
better, that wasn't one of the studies that was done in Door County, they were
It's Green Lake,
all north of us. Marathon County? No,
Bayfield,
Bayfield.
Green Lake, Bayfield,
And one down in Madison.
yeah.
No, that's south. One down in the Madison area.
I guess I'd like to hear from the chief on this.
I think, they're gonna come with any and all observations with the data that they get. A lot of it is data collection that they'd work with the sheriff's department through the dispatch center. Call volumes, types of calls, a lot of that stuff is gonna be work through the dispatch center, and they're gonna come back with history and hopefully take that information and put together some plans that hopefully that we can work with down the road.
Did they look at something like this several years ago and Luxembourg said, no way, we don't want anything to do with this, but you're telling me Luxembourg brought this forward now to who represented the county board there? At the
Dan
meeting?
Olson
Dan Olson?
And Gary,
and Gary Poppy were the two county board elected officials that were attended both. of these
Was, do
meetings.
you remember back some
I
time
do.
ago? When
right, and I think that what ended up happening there, it was brought forward, putting maybe the cart ahead of the horse. And there was a lot of drawback from that where everybody made the assumption that the county wanted to get involved and, you know, was gonna phase out your local connections. And I think because of the resistance it had through the EMS council, it faded away. This was brought back up again because of Luxembourg Rescue's concerns, and also I think, you know, one of the county board members as well, that were looking for other options for EMS services. Not that they get rid of them, but how to make them more sustainable.
And both Kiwani and Luxembourg, they have a housing with their, like we're gonna have,
They do.
and they're having a problem bringing people in now to stay. Is that
I guess, bro, it's licensure level. So your first audit ambulance has to be at the advanced EMT level. We staff both advanced EMTs and EMTs. They have EMTs that are unwilling or don't want to take the AEMT class. They're volunteers, I didn't make somebody. Problem they're running into is they can't staff an AEMT ambulance all the time, and they're running into issues. They haven't had collapses in coverage yet. But as an example, was it 2 Saturdays ago? I got the message from the Luxembourg director that they said they had no AEMT coverage from 6 PM to midnight on a Saturday night. Which means that they can't transport. 10 minutes later, as part of that same Congress group is where it was the 3 of us directors. Kiwani also didn't have coverage from 6 PM to midnight. So at one point, we theoretically would have had our one transporting ambulance in this county. The entire county. I got on the phone and made sure we had, see if there were anybody else around. We could have filled 2 ambulances at that time. By 5:45, I got messages from both of them that they found somebody to do it. So 15 minutes before it happened. 45 minutes later, Luxembourg got a car accident. So, glad they did. But that's kind of the situations we're running into that kind of puts it into perspective. Staffing is the biggest problem, but it's so multifaceted that it's not just, they said. If you paid somebody $50 an hour, sure, you could probably fix it, but that's not feasible.
Who's the company that's doing the study?
I don't think they decided yet. Actually, they were looking at 2 different firms that did these other 2, and I don't think they've actually decided who they're going to do.
One did 2 and another company did the other one, and I'm not sure if that's locked in yet, who they would use. I think they're wondering if the money would be there to do it.
So we've got 2 questions here. First of all, we don't know if the county board's gonna budget the 25,000.
Let's just assume that they will.
Well, that must have been part of your budget because I've already seen it. You're going with a no increase budget.
It was presented to
Is it
them.
in there?
It was presented and it's built into their 2026 budget.
Okay,
It is not currently today built into our 2026 budget.
right.
This is something that Jamie would put a placeholder in the budget. And if it comes to tuition, that's the maximum we would spend. If there's 5 towns that don't go in and they come back and they say, okay, we don't have the money to do it, that maybe it dies on the floor right there.
So you're looking for a motion to budget not to exceed what, 4,000?
$4,077.50.
Is there any money left over in this year's budget that we could just allocate for that? A lot of times we have leftovers that just go to the general fund. From the fire and
Back to that, Jamie?
I guess I would just say, I mean, you're not gonna take it from the general fund, you would take it from the rescue fund.
Yeah.
Right.
But our revenues are already ahead of schedule for 2025, based on what we had budgeted. I would anticipate they might be for 2026 as well.
Well, if it's a rescue study, it should come out of the rescue
Yeah.
fund.
Yeah, and that's where it would, it
That's
wouldn't
where it
come out of the general fund, it would come, you know, out of rest.
Like those are overages jump to the general fund. So technically.
At the end of the day,
But you can hold it for this year's budget, put it towards that.
Well, I thought, my understanding is that years ago, we got away from that. You couldn't take monies.
You couldn't earmark.
Right.
Leftover budget money,
Right,
yeah,
but there's nothing saying you, if this is an EMS thing, there's nothing saying that you can't take money right now from there.
Right.
Subject to what we're gonna hear from the other townships and the city. You're in 2025 yet, you
Yeah.
can basically take that money if it's available and you can put it towards that.
And
budget
really-
amendment.
It could be, you wouldn't even be required to do a budget amendment, but if your rescue fund makes money this year, it's just gonna go on the fund balance. And well, that money's kind of its own account, so.
The only thing we're looking at here is not to exceed the amount that
Mhm.
that the administrator said. I mean, I don't have a problem with the study. I'll be interested to see what the study comes back with. You know, I don't know how you're gonna address staffing. But I guess that's why those people get paid to do that kind of stuff, so.
I'm hoping we can hold them up with some good ideas.
Well, I agree, but staffing is the big thing, and you can't bring that horse to water and force it to drink, so. So I'll make a motion with the amount that you stated again.
I just wanna be, I apologize for interrupting, but just so everybody's on the same page and we don't have to bring this back. The city of Algoma is good to pay up to $4,077.50. And if other towns or villages or cities are out, that's what we would pay up to. That's our portion, and we're good to pay up to our portion.
But
That's my question.
if the other townships aren't in, it's gonna be a moot point, right?
Or the county or somebody's gonna have to pick up more,
Right.
but we're not willing to pick up.
This is the maximum that the city of Algoma is willing to.
I just wanna make sure that's clear to everybody and everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my motion, that this is the
Yeah.
maximum, and if it doesn't fly, it doesn't fly.
Okay.
But if they come back and say, well, we need $10,000 or.
Well, who will make that decision that it's not gonna fly? We can be all in and then
The
they
county.
say we're still gonna do it. It's
County.
gonna
I
be a
think as part of
30,000.
this meeting, when they come back, you know, we have another one of these
Yeah.
meetings and they're like, okay,
Oh,
four
what
of the
was that?
towns
So
are
we're gonna
out.
Take 30,000 now and we're gonna do it.
And they could make that and say, okay, we're all gonna absorb more, right? I can at that meeting say, this is what we're paying up to,
Right.
and that's set in stone.
So we don't wanna say, if they're not in, we're not in, we're still willing to put in.
Well, we're-
Just
We're
clarify.
paying up to that if the study goes through.
My motion is that for the $4,700 and some odd dollars.
$4,077.50.
That's the maximum that Algoma will contribute towards the study.
I'll second that.
And if the study doesn't fly,
Correct.
Then it's dead in the water.
Well, the study's gonna go.
Assuming if and when it were to go through, they're gonna come back and present it to you, the same body, and then you would share that with us?
That is correct.
So we have a motion from Wayne and a second from Scott. Did you have another question, Amy?
Yeah, I just wanna. We're saying that. If the other townships are out, we're still willing to put in, because I have a feeling even though they gave a $50,000 cost, they're gonna come down to 30,000. And we're still okay with going through it, that even though the other townships are not, are they gonna look at the other townships or just at us? If they don't, that would be my question to the makers of the study is, if the other townships don't comply,
Oh,
Are
it's
they-
all or nothing.
are they going forward with investigating and looking at those other areas?
Only way the study works, right, is to look at the county as a whole. If the city of Kiwanee says we're out, we're not
Well, they're just
participating
not-
in the
yeah,
study,
Right, then,
they still have to study the county EMS service as a whole, right? And you
I don't
can't be
know.
like, well, Kiwanee, you don't get to see the study.
well, no,
or,
it's not that,
You know.
Kiwanee can deny them access
Unless
to
I'm
any of their
speaking out of line,
information.
Lori, the study doesn't work unless you're looking at the three EMS.
Milwaukee.
Right.
I see what you're doing.
If you don't
care,
care.
study and not pay a dime.
See that. What's that?
Well, hopefully everybody would be willing to chip in their fair share.
Hopefully the county will find the money wherever they find it.
That's kind of the,
But the motion is that's our.
that's what we're willing to put in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody understands that?
Mhm.
Julia, on that.
Sure, just to make sure I have it right, I have a motion by Wayne Schmidt and a second by Scott Meverden. That $4,077.50 is the maximum contribution Algoma will make towards this study. And a roll call. Johnson,
Yes.
Wayne Schmidt,
Yes.
Kevin Schmidt,
Yes.
Meverden,
Yes.
Swedberg,
Yes.
Worth,
Yes.
Ortlieb.
Yes.
And then agenda items for the next meeting, if you can, Jamie or Matt. Our next meeting would be Tuesday, November 18th at 5 P.M. Motion.
Question,
Go ahead.
of the administrator. What's the latest with our townships on the contract towards the fire station?
Well, we have, myself, the chief, have been working with the townships. And the latest, we got a intergovernmental agreement that was put together by the three towns' attorneys and presented to us. And we've just got a month and a half ago that. And then this whole thing took place and we've pumped it ready to get through this EMS side of the service thing. And as soon as we know where this lands, get back on meeting with the townships on everything else.
What three townships?
The three that we serve,
Okay, that's
half
what I
of the
wondered.
town of Lincoln, half of the town of Pearson, 100% of the town of Anapee.
So in your dialogue that you've had a month and a half ago or two, does it look like they're gonna lean towards helping us fund this extra on that fire station, or what you say?
We've kinda, in this meeting, and that was part of my proposal, because if we were just gonna take the three ambulances and take this, service upon ourselves and say, we're gonna take the other 25,000 divided by three, and we're gonna have to pay it, I have no way to push that off to the towns. I wanted to see where the towns, all of them, not just the three we serve, but where does everybody fit in the game on this? It sounds to me like our three towns are on board, in participating in this. Don't know about any of the other ones, but it sounds like the three that we serve are into participating with this. Where are they as far as participating with the fire department?
Yeah,
Get through this intergovernmental agreement, and I think they're in favor of it. But we have to get through this intergovernmental agreement and how that all works and where it starts and where it stops. Because an intergovernmental agreement is all of a sudden you become part ownership of a fire station today. Well, what about everything in the past, right? So there's a lot of things that have to be gone through to be presented to the city council here before we move forward with it.
do you think time wise before the first of the year or not?
I don't think we'll be ready before the first of the year. No.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I would.
Motion to adjourn.
Second by Scott.
Second.
Don,
That's fine.
all
Yeah.
in favor?
I.
Opposed? Carries.